Pakistanis, etc., we had to actually stay in because of the NF and skinheads and etc. And my daddy got attacked by how many of them, but you know, it sort of opened up my eyes as to, and sort of related to that actual video and remembering those kind of days. And it weren't until when I got over to South London, I started to notice a difference, more of a community, but then at the same time, I sort of signified that as a unity in comparison to East London. But as of today, I think that we still need to have that sort of synergy approach. We still need to sort of educate the youngsters, and on a subconscious level. It's not even just on the practical side, because without the subconscious, you can't act practically. Do you know what I mean? The
Absolutely.
go hand in hand. You know what I mean?
I mean, let me what I'm doing. I'm going to shift a bit because it does get that we stay on one point. I'm going to throw in a point that I've always noticed, and I like wanted to hit home. Yeah, I've noticed when we watch these documentaries, and I noticed there when they were actually speaking to the group about how they feel, what happened, they were all giggling. Now, I know the reason why they're giggling is obviously because it's BBC. I noticed there's a Caucasian girl sitting down on the chair beside them. So I've always noticed about us, when there's Caucasians around, we feel very uncomfortable, especially because, again, they're talking about us and how we have been, you know, taught to behave. And that's also that's a big problem with me, because I'm sure the Jews don't sit down and giggle and say, do you remember when my grandfather said they threw him in the gas chamber? Like, I know they don't giggle, but that's another thing about our condition, that we're the only people that laugh at our stereotypes. And I just want to ask why that is.
I think white people feel safe. We know that like we're comedians. That's why you find our frontmen, we have Eddie Nesta, frontman, ex-comedian, Richard Blackwood, comedians. We all tend to put our comedians as our frontmen to speak about us. Why? So white people feel safe, once we know that we're making them laugh. That's what it is.
So, but what I was asking is, why do we, that's it, I'm throwing a question, why do we laugh? Because as I said, the things happen, why is it we laugh? Go on, brother.
Because a lot of us actually accept those, internalize those stereotypes. The big nose, the big lips, you know what I mean? I come, like people are saying about Africans and Caribbeans. Sure. I mean, I come from both. I'm a product of the half Jamaican, half African, you know, family. Mum being African, dad being Jamaican. But I experienced all that kind of stuff in school, you know, getting called boo-boo, and one hand you're African, one hand you're Jamaican, all that kind of stuff. But it's about you to be strong as a person, you know what I mean? Because you have to understand that's a tactic they use to make us insecure and complex. The thing that a white person or a non-white person hates most is to see a black person who's strong with their identity. When they just look at you, they can just see in your face, in your, like just on the train, someone was asking me what country you're from. I asked her why. Another black woman, you know what I mean, she said she was Afrikaans. Black woman, you know, it's the same thing in the head, you know, she's South African, black, but she's telling me she don't speak Zulu, she speaks Afrikaans. She's looking at me thinking, why is he wearing all that stuff? You know, I know exactly what she's thinking, but play with the mind. You have to be strong. If you don't know your language, if we can go to college or university and learn Spanish, French, whatever, you can go and learn Yoruba. You can go and learn the thousands of languages that exist in Africa. But we don't have an interest, let's be real about it. If we want to change our children's mind, we have to change our mind first. You understand what I mean? I grew up in Wembley, but there was a lot of Somalians, and I was the only one out of my friends that didn't hate Somalians. All my brothers were like, I can't stand them Somalians, they're taking this, they're taking that. But that same person would rather go with a white girl first before they go Somalian girl. That is our mentor.
Like I said, you know what, we're going to get hot tonight. So just, no, straight, we're going to get hot tonight. So just warm up your seats. I mean, go on, brother.
I also believe the same thing. I reckon it's more or less it's a shameful aspect of things. It's like we try to laugh it off already thinking what the white person's really going to think about us. So straight away, as you said, big nose, big lips, rather see that as a beauty and as a part of God's creation, which who are we to define what's right and what's wrong? So already we've already adopted the white man's mentality by thinking straight away, if you don't have a straight nose or you don't have straight hair or your eyes isn't hazel or whatever, it's deemed as a negativity. It's deemed as negative. And so really and truly, I think we do need to start thinking about and looking at the bigger aspect of things and just not even prejudging. As Mum always said, don't judge people. Do you know what I mean? Because who are you to judge at the end of the day? It's a simple
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. I mean, gentlemen at the back.
Yeah, back to your point about...
No, King Reggie.
No mic.
Back to your point about why do we laugh? we're the only people that laugh at our own stereotypes. And one of the main reasons I think is like one of the sayings we got in Jamaica, you either laugh or cry. It's so serious, our condition is so serious, we have to make jokes of it. It's like a coping mechanism. You know, it gets us through because it's so serious, it's either laugh or get angry, basically. That's what I was going to touch.
What, want to get angry then?
Also, the Asian question, as far as blacks and Asians being black, in my experience and through history, apart from a few, a minority, Asians are only black when they're under fire. Correct. When you're in their shop, asking them, I won't go into it, you know?
I mean, again, you know, as I said, it's about dropping it, you know, mention off that point.
Just the fact that we can laugh is probably why we're still here. You know, if we were busy getting angry, we'd be poisoning ourselves with all that toxic energy. So, and I mean, this, I'm not calling black people dogs, but I had a dog, right? And no matter how much I beat it, every time it did something bad, it would come up and lick me and wag its tail, and it got on my nerves, right? So, us laughing ain't a bad thing because it keeps us, and they don't like it. They don't want to see people laugh and smile. So, oh no, but nothing else.
No, I want to say on that point though, you know, the dog, yeah, and the laughing and blah blah blah. But at the same time, when someone that looks like us says something, there's no licking around. They're going to find that person. So like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm more saying dealing with the actual condition because it's like we feel powerless. So some people do giggle and whatnot. You understand what I'm saying? So there's one bit, yeah, that's how we deal with it. I mean, even, I tell everyone now, Layla Africa's coming on the, 24th? 22nd. Anyway, he'll phone me later on, was it? No, what it is that, he said there's something that the FBI used to say about black people, is that, you know, because we're very emotional, because of our melanin, we're very, our emotions are high. So basically can do what they hold to them, they go home, say a prayer, pour a libation, and after a month they forget about everything. But do something to each other now, and they're all ready to start hell. That's what they said.
Just in terms of the comments about the laughing, I think Dr. Joy Leary in her book, about post-traumatic slave syndrome, will touch on some of the behaviours that we have that are as a direct result of what we went through during that period of 400 years plus, and subsequently in terms of the slavery process. It's not about talking about that and thinking that that is the only part of our history, because I very firmly believe it's not. However, the effects of that will and have continued to have an impact in terms of how we behave and what we do when we're in certain contexts. So as you're saying, I believe that, and your point, Shay, was talking about Jewish people not laughing at their oppression. I think that other groups have got the monopoly on suffering. Black people don't. So what happens is, as has already been mentioned, other groups will say, look at the disadvantage that we've gone through. And when a black person says it, where we really have suffered, because other groups have organised, as Avery was saying, themselves, and have made a very firm practical, as a brother at the back was saying, commitment in terms of making a difference. What then happens is they are able to say, we're disadvantaged and look at us, and people will listen. Unfortunately, for people of African descent, they haven't been able to do that in an organised and practical way. So when it comes around to talking about things like this, and there's a white person in the room, chances are the vibe of this room would change, and the vibe of the conversation would change. And that is because of a process that all of us have been through that has unfortunately become genetic. And as someone else said, what we have to then look at is making conscious decisions, as Stephen says all the time, making conscious thoughts that then become subconscious.